What is up, y'all? It's Mav. This is Mav Magic, a place where I'm trying to help my trans brothers, sisters, and siblings become their higher selves. And today we're going to be talking about faith, religion, and why I'm not doing that anymore. Before we jump into this lovely topic, I'm going to ask for you to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. I post videos about non-binary identity, spirituality. If you're into that stuff, stick around. We got some good things coming. So, this is why I clicked on this video. You wanna hear me talk about why I'm not a Christian anymore, and you're in for a treat. So sit down, get cozy, get a nice cup of water or a nice warm drink, whatever you prefer, because this is gonna be a good one. Honestly, it is so freeing now that I no longer identify as a Christian, and just to say that out loud just like is very relieving. It feels like it's something that I hadn't really shared that much with other people, but here I am talking about it with the internet. Here we go. Some people might click on this and wonder, like, they're probably just bitter. Some bitter person, some bitter old queer person who is mad at the church or got some church hurt, and that's why they left. You might be right. Maybe I am a little bit bitter. Honestly, I've had a lot of really lousy stuff happen to me at the hands of people who have been a part of the church. But that is not the reason why I left Christianity. We gotta go back to the very beginning to understand what we're working with here. So, I was raised in a pretty fundamentalist Christian home. My parents are Haitian immigrants, and they came with their Christian beliefs from the island and tried to mix it in as they really learned the culture of the United States, really dove into the community church, Haitian American churches that were up in North Jersey. They passed that on to us, their children, and here I am. There are a lot of things that I deeply loved and appreciated about being a Christian, but there's also a lot of things that I did not like and did not appreciate. Some of the things that I didn't appreciate were like the rules, the dogma that came with this system of believing. Another part of Christianity that I don't really align with anymore is the idea that you have to go through a conduit to get to God. And in Christianity, that the way to God is through Jesus Christ. So you have to be saved to kind of get to God. Jesus Christ gives us the ability to connect with God. We would not be able to connect with God if it was not for Jesus. And so since we have Jesus, we're able to obviously connect with God. I remember thinking, like, as a Protestant Christian, like, ooh, I feel bad for Catholics because they have to go through the priest to get to God, but I have direct access to the Son of God, who is Jesus, so I am good. Going through Jesus is still going through someone else to get to God. When you consider, okay, Jesus is part of God, you have the Trinity, then things start to the lines start to blur. And then I believe that I just was communicating with God just because I had Jesus. Jesus was the same thing as God, so it was the same thing. I didn't really feel like there was any need to go deeper because I had everything that I thought that I believed. I thought Jesus was everything. Like, after Jesus, there was nothing else. But I've kind of found that I've outgrown Christianity, and my beliefs are much vaster than Christianity. I will not, however, knock Christianity or disrespect the religion itself or disrespect people that are in that religion, because I believe that all religions lead to divinity. They lead to connecting to your higher power, to a higher power, and I don't have a problem with that. I am all about everyone choosing their own way to connect to God. We are all here on this planet as little facets of source energy trying to help the universe know itself better. And the more that we can understand this world, the more that we can understand the way that we prefer to connect to God, the better. If you have a faith system that works for you, more power to you. Keep doing it. The more that you learn more about faith, the more that you learn about God, the closer you are connecting to whatever the energy is. And I am all about that. I will not knock that for you. Some of the other things that I actually appreciated about Christianity might even help explain why I left the faith itself. I have such a deep, deep gratitude for my Christian upbringing because it allowed me to connect to source energy. It allowed me to connect to God in a way that I wouldn't have been able to do. For example, if my parents weren't religious. So from a very young age, I had a close connection to God. And, I talked to God all the time. I just loved the idea of God, and I felt God inside of me, and I felt God's presence. And I don't know, there's not always words to really describe exactly how that happens or what that feeling was, but I felt it, and I knew that I felt it. I always felt some draw to divinity, even when I tried to run away from it. I gotta be honest, there was lots of times that I have questioned my faith. And there are times where I had kind of ignored the faith entirely and lived my life outside of any type of religious system. Those were pretty short-lived experiences because I always felt drawn to come back to God, come back to faith, come back to religion. The problem that I had was that I only understood God inside of the context of religion. I thought that you had to be in religion to see God, to connect with God. And mind you, I'm saying God so many times in this video. And when I say that word, I don't just mean the idea of God who is this father figure in this, who lives in heaven, and judges our actions, is up there answering our prayers, things like that. Like I don't think that is necessarily God. God is more conscious energy, or pure consciousnness, or the essence of consciousness. So now that I have that definition kind of out of the way, I'm gonna get back to the content, really. But I've always just felt this deep connection to God and to divinity, to spirituality, spiritual things in general. And I see so many mirrors in the way that I feel now, with my connection to the universe and source energy, like I did when I was younger, when I felt so in love with Jesus. The similarities are everywhere. It's just a matter, I really believe, of having a different perspective of God, and that's helping me kind of expand my beliefs. Once again, reiterating, I don't think my beliefs fit inside of Christianity anymore. I think my understanding of the universe is too big for Christianity itself. I really understand that I have outgrown Christianity. And I also say that with a grain of salt because I don't know what I'm going to believe in 10 years or 5 years. And I'm okay with that. I've never been secure in living the journey. All I'm doing is letting spirit guide me day to day. And I don't know exactly where that's gonna land me, but right now things feel too big for me to fit inside of that belief. It's almost like Christianity is studying one aspect of God. So almost like you're only studying God's profile, for example. You're only able to look at that aspect, but you can't see the whole thing, all the different sides of it. So I was doing all of this study in understanding God. Mind you, I spent years studying scripture, I was raised in a Christian high school. I went to a very strict Bible college for 2 years, where I just studied the scriptures. And then I went to like a biblical Christian university where I studied psychology and counseling, and also had like theology class courses and things like that. So I really got to study God in so many different ways. And so I got to know them deeply. And but at the same time, I was learning just one side of God, one part of God deeply. I want it all. I want to experience the vastness of God. And when I am able to connect with source energy, I feel the vastness of God now more widely than I ever have before. And that to me is absolutely incredible. There's one other aspect of Christianity that really turned me off. And that was the disdain that I had for other people. And that sounds pretty harsh. Like, come on, you didn't feel that bad about other people. But like, I remember being in like deeply in Christianity, and how much I thought that I loved other people who were quote unquote sinners. But I couldn't stand them. I really, when I would look at someone who was, this is gonna sound so bad, when I look at someone who was a practicing homosexual, like that to me was the lowest of, like one of the lowest things, because that's what I was taught. And I want to be very clear that I'm not like blaming other people who taught me these things, because that's not what I have an issue with. I have an issue with how that actually landed with me and how I practiced it. And I know that it is very similar to how a lot of other people practice Christianity. They try to live by the love the sinner, hate the sin, but it doesn't always work out like that. And a lot of times the sinner feels hated. And it wasn't until I started to expand my view of Christianity, and I had an expansive view of Christianity for about like 2 or 3 years before I decided that I'm not gonna be a Christian anymore. And even when I did that, it was almost like I was continuing to try to like reconcile the fact that I had done all of those really hateful things in my heart towards other people, the way that I felt. It was wrong. It was so wrong, but I thought that it was right. That's the scariest part, honestly, to me, is I thought that I was right. I thought that I was doing what was good for other people. I thought that I was being loving to other people because I was hating their sin. But I honestly don't know how many people that I've told, you know, people that I've personally told, because I used to be a camp counselor, like rah for Jesus. I told people that they, you know, couldn't be gay and Christian. I preached that. Here I am, being that opposite. And for a long time, I was a gay Christian. And even times, you know, I was a trans Christian. I broke my own rules, and I learned that it was okay. But I had to unlearn a lot. And I am hoping that I can kind of pass on to the next generations that they don't have to unlearn things. That they can learn the basic building blocks of universe, the laws of nature. And then if they choose to also like follow a religious path, that's awesome. More power to them. But for me, like, I don't think that this is where I need to be. And I feel so good about this. I feel at peace and at rest inside of my soul because I feel like I am finally doing what's right, what I need to be doing. And it's so amazing to follow the call that lives within you. I talked in another video about our divinity, and you have like this curious spark within you. If you clicked on this video and you're watching till now, you have that spark within you. And that spark of curiosity is just a marker of your divinity, that you know that there is more to know. That curiosity is a beautiful aspect of you. And I'm so sorry if there has been other people who have told you that that's not right. Or they might not have said it to you directly, but if they didn't answer your questions, they made you feel that it wasn't right to ask questions. But now is the time for you to expand. Now is the time for you to grow. You will make it to the other side of this journey, of these inquisitive questions that you have. Maybe it'll look like you going down a different religious path. Maybe it'll look like you reimagining your current path that you're on right now. And there's no judgment here. However you choose to love, and share the love, not just with other people, just with higher power of whatever kind, you will find that. And I want you to know from someone who thought I was completely alone, that I would never figure this thing out, that this is possible for you. If you're a person who is specifically having some questions about Christianity, you're feeling a little bit lost, not really sure where to go, the best thing for you to do right now is to learn everything you can about Christianity. Work really hard to do some research on the foundations of Christianity. Not like, when the first church was built in America. No, I'm talking about go back to the Council of Nicaea when they were working with trying to get the scriptural canon put together. And that just means when they were able to sit together with a bunch of religious leaders and they were able to pick different books of the Bible and put them together. The Bible wasn't written as a singular book. Several different books that were written over a long span of time by several different authors that were compiled together. There were books that didn't make the cut. It is very important for you to understand why they didn't make the cut. Why did they make cuts in the first place? What were they cutting out? What message did they want to portray to the people who were coming to their church? I personally believe that some decisions might have been made very, very early on in the foundations of Christianity as a religion that weren't okay, that had the leadership in mind, not the person, I guess, at the bottom of the rung, so to speak. So now is your time to start from the bottom. Figure out everything that you can about Christianity. Those were the places where I asked myself the deepest questions and where I found the most compelling answers. Trying to understand the foundations of spirituality, the foundation of man's own understanding of God or of higher power. You can go back to ancient Kemet, very ancient Egypt, and that was pretty much where a lot of spirituality was born. Study the concepts, study the esoteric symbolism within those teachings. You will be amazed at the mirrors that you see in Christianity. Then after you see the mirrors in Christianity, you'll start to see them in all other faith practices. And after that, you understand like pretty much all religion in general. What I really want to help my trans siblings in general become their higher selves. The one way that you can do that today is by gaining knowledge. No one can take away knowledge from you. This is the greatest gift that you can give yourself. So spend time deeply studying, deeply considering what you want to do in terms of your spirituality. Make every moment count. We really just have this one life. and we just have each moment to live in the best way that we can. I urge you to deeply consider if you feel congruent with the spiritual path that you're on right now. We need to do some reevaluating. We are changing, fluid beings, and so we need to respect that by evaluating our spiritual beliefs and adjusting them if necessary. I have so much gratitude for you being here. This might be really difficult, but I've been where you are. And things are gonna be okay. Just get out there, learn a lot, ask yourself deep questions, spend time in meditation, really trying to understand what's going on, and really make your own decisions. Don't let anybody else make these decisions for you. Only you can make these decisions. I want to send you so much love, so much peace today. You can feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or write a comment down below. My Instagram is @mavmagic. I would love to connect with you. Once again, love y'all. See you next time.